When you picture Mumbai, what comes to mind? Probably skyscrapers, right? A city that's always reaching up. But what if I told you the real story of Mumbai's future isn't up there, but way, way down below, in the earth it stands on?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild idea. Because under all that hustle and bustle, there's this whole other world. A hidden network of, huge new tunnels, forgotten secrets from the colonial era, and even this fragile natural history that's, it's starting to come back and cause some serious problems.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going on a journey, but instead of going up, we're going down. We're going to peel back the layers of asphalt and dirt to check out 3 hidden worlds: the future they're building, the past they're digging up, and a pretty dangerous legacy the city's now forced to deal with. And it's all happening, literally, right under their feet.
All right, so first up, let's look at what's happening right now. There's this massive, and I mean massive, effort to build the city's future deep underground. Seriously, Mumbai is in the middle of one of the most ambitious underground construction projects anywhere on the planet. Okay, get this, 33.5 kilometers. Let that sink in for a second. That's how long the new Aqua Line of the Mumbai Metro is. But the crazy part? Every single inch of it is being carved out deep beneath one of the most densely populated places you can imagine, linking the southern tip of the city all the way to its northern hubs. And it's not just the metro either. The brand new coastal road actually dives down to depths of 70 meters. It's got these twin tunnels running right under Malabar Hill and along the sea. To give you a little perspective on that, that's like taking a 20-story building and laying it on its side underground. So the big question is, how is any of this even possible? Well, it all comes down to this incredible piece of machinery, the tunnel boring machine, or TBM. This one here, used for the coastal road, got the nickname Mavala after some ancient warriors. These things are basically giant mechanical worms, just chewing their way through Mumbai's really complex geology of hard rock and soft soil to make these new pathways.
Now, what makes this whole thing so fascinating is just how complicated it is. I mean, this isn't like drilling through an empty mountain. We're talking about navigating a subterranean obstacle course. You've got a high water table, all sorts of underground pipes and cables, and, oh yeah, the foundations of buildings that are hundreds of years old, just a few meters above your head. One wrong move could be absolutely disastrous.
The kind of work this requires, it's like surgery. At a place called Hatama Chowk, they had to dig right under these fragile 100-year-old heritage buildings. The solution? Over 10,000 controlled microblasts, so tiny and precise they barely even registered on the surface. Then, further north at Marol Naka, the tunnel they'd planned was way too close to the pillars of an existing metro line, so they had to completely redraw the plans and realign the whole thing. Every single meter they dig brings a brand new, unique challenge.
But here's where it gets really interesting. As these engineers are carving out the future, all that digging is also stirring up the ghosts of Mumbai's past. They're literally unearthing forgotten structures, things hidden for decades that you won't find on any modern map. It's just this incredible collision of 2 different worlds. You have these massive modern machines boring through the earth, and then bam, they stumble upon a piece of history that no one knew was there, forcing the entire city to confront a past it had literally buried and forgotten. For years, there was this rumor going around among the staff at Bhavan, the governor's official residence, about some kind of hidden tunnel. Well, in 2016, the governor finally ordered a search. Workers eventually broke down a wall, and they found themselves just staring into this huge, dark space. And it was way, way more than just a tunnel. What they found was a massive, 150-meter-long British-era military bunker. It was a perfectly preserved piece of history with 13 different rooms, some still labeled a shell store and gun shell, along with complete drainage and ventilation systems. It had been sealed off for over 60 years. It was a time capsule from before World War I, probably built to defend against attacks from the sea.
It turns out the ground beneath Mumbai is just full of these surprises. During some restoration work at another famous landmark, the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, or CSMT, yet another piece of the city's hidden history just appeared.
Tucked away beneath the old cash office, workers found a fortified vault deep underground. It was part of the original 19th century design, a strong room that was basically the financial heart of the railway. Every night, cash from ticket sales from all over the network was lowered down into this chamber to be kept safe. It was used all the way up into the 1970s, and then it was just forgotten.
So as Mumbai digs down to build its future, it just keeps running into its past.
These structures, built a century ago for completely different reasons, are now coming back to the surface, giving the city a direct physical connection to its own colonial history.
But, not everything buried under the city is some kind of historical treasure. Our last journey downwards uncovers a much darker legacy, one that involves overwhelmed infrastructure and destroyed natural systems. And it's a legacy that now poses a real threat to the city.
944 millimeters. That's more than 3 feet of rain. And that's how much fell on Mumbai in a single 24-hour period back on July 26, 2005. The city was completely paralyzed by these catastrophic floods. It was a brutal, brutal wake-up call.
Here's the core of the problem. The city's main stormwater drainage system is a relic from the 1860s. It was designed to handle just 25 millimeters of rain an hour. That 2005 storm just totally overwhelmed it, and ever since then, the city has faced severe flooding again and again.
But the failure wasn't just about old pipes. It was also about what the city had lost over the years. See, the original British design relied heavily on what we now call infrastructural ecosystems. Things like the huge mangrove swamps that used to line the coast. They weren't just nice scenery. They were a vital part of the whole drainage system.
And this right here shows you the devastating change. Mangroves, they act like a natural sponge. They soak up excess water, they act as a barrier against storm surges. But starting in the 1980s, a huge construction boom, both legal and illegal, just wiped out these vital ecosystems to reclaim more land. By taking out this natural infrastructure, the city put a burden on the man-made system that it was never, ever designed to handle, and it left itself dangerously exposed.
So, as we come back up to the surface, what have we learned? Well, it's that Mumbai's relationship with the ground beneath it is this really tense negotiation between its future, its past, and the consequences of its environmental choices. So this is the story of what lies beneath the city. On one level, you have this incredible push into the future, pushing the limits of engineering. On another level, they're constantly rediscovering this forgotten past. And at the same time, they're dealing with the very real consequences of having destroyed the natural systems that were meant to protect the city in the first place.
And all of this leaves us with one final and I think crucial question. For a city that was built on reclaimed land, is all this digging really creating a sustainable future? Or is it just burying today's problems, leaving them, like those old colonial bunkers and choked drains, for a future generation to unearth?